Go on, Mr. Maps.
Yo, what it do, what it is.
What it is, what it does. I like the energy you're coming with today. We give thanks for that.
Yeah. No, I've rested up. The man is
These
back.
past few weeks, you've been stumbling out of the blocks.
Nah, man, don't say that. It's just, I've been tired, man. I'm a hardworking man, you know. I've got a wife and kids to support, you know. Want to animal papa tell school fee.
Yeah. Siyakuzo.
Yeah. Otherwise, what's the story?
Alive and kicking, big man. Swell as usual, standard thing.
That's what we like to hear. Something that I wanted to quickly update the people on. But I'll do it just now. Real quick though, welcome back. It is another episode of 6 Foot Weights, your favorite hour with your favorite cheese boys. My name is Tabo.
And my name is Senna.
And we're back again for another week of madness. Right. Real quick, my update. So, remember we were giving the Nigeria summary, right? I forgot to mention something. An observation from Nigeria again, which made me feel right at home. Everybody wears AirPods, and I was just like, "Oh my god, I'm home." I was so happy. Like people pulled up, had a business dinner on a Saturday, and like three Ngis pulled up with their AirPods on, had them even during dinner, and it's just like you know. But again, I wasn't offended. I understood. I was like, hey man, this shit makes sense. You know, it should make sense.
That's because Nigeria has a very big show off culture. Generally.
No, but again, these were
if you found yourself
guys,
at home.
They weren't trying to flex. They weren't trying. This is what I'm saying. AirPods are not a flex. AirPods are not.
No,
expensive.
but you see, flexing is not meant. Flexing is not meant to be overt, right? It's meant to come off as subtle, right? Which is what wearing AirPods in unnecessary settings is, right? AirPods are a sound device. Now, also, when you're not listening to music or on a phone call, it's basically like you're wearing an earring to look pretty.
Not really. And here's the thing: I'll stand up for my Niger boys. Nigerians, when they flex with a capital F. You know what I mean? Like they don't subtle flex. I think you could say we subtle flex here and there, right? But these ones are not subtle. Everything about Nigerians is loud, bombastic. Hey, you know, I'm here, type of thing. So
that's why they're all wearing AirPods.
No, but this is the thing. AirPods don't do that. That's what I'm saying. AirPods are not expensive, fam. They're pretty affordable. Like they're really not expensive.
They're not expensive.
You can't flex with something that is accessible to a lot of people. I'm not saying that they're cheap.
Oh, but you can.
But I'm not
That's
saying
what
that
makes it cringe.
Nah. That's the thing. You guys, here's the thing. You're hating from outside of the club. If you get AirPods, then you'd understand. And that's the thing. It's not expensive. If it was different, it would be different if we're talking Owuti, you know, I don't know. Like if we're talking iPhones, right? Like if you have the latest iPhone and you're just mentioning with me, I've got a 1 terabyte Pro 13, then it's like, okay, you're flexing. There's no need for us to know that. Yeah, well, that's a flex. But AirPods are not a flex.
Okay, so why are people wearing the AirPods when they're not playing anything from their devices?
Because it's so efficient. At the end of the day, they're not meant to just play, you know, music, for example, right? It's not like headphones. You wouldn't have, even if you had like Apple headphones. I think Apple does have headphones actually. And obviously they've got Beats as well. But like if you had your Beats headphones on and you come to a dinner and they're on, obviously that's weird, right? That's cringe. What the fuck?
It's the same thing.
No, it's not, because AirPods,
How?
at the end of the day, you could get a notification, right? Someone sends you an audio message, or you're scrolling on Twitter or whatever, and you want to watch a video, and it's like you can just easily do that.
But that's the same with headphones. I get a notification, it comes through if my device is connected and it's on.
Yeah, but
it'll ping me.
They're not designed for that. They're not designed to be portable, for example. They're not designed to be small, and you know, they're just there. AirPods are, you don't even feel them in your ears, you know? Like, I forget so many times with AirPods, what do they in my ear? Because
Which brings me to a tweet from T-Pain from a few weeks back where he was like, I want this glue that you guys are using to keep them things on because somehow they don't fall out. Now,
nah, they really don't.
My experience with earphones is if you keep them on for a sufficient amount of time, they're either going to fall out, it'll get sweaty or whatever it is, or you just feel uncomfortable and have to remove it. On top of that, your hearing becomes impaired. Just
not really.
Sounds become muffled. You can't hear things properly.
No, it doesn't. This is what I'm saying. So you've never tried on AirPods.
I have. My sister had one.
So how is your hearing impaired, bro? Like
because you literally have something covering your ear.
No, then you have ear issues. Go see
I don't have ear issues. Literally,
no.
Tabo, if you take an earphone and put it on your ear, it will obviously impact your hearing. You still hear stuff, but it's not going to be in the same way.
The ones with the rubber tips, like AirPods Pro, for example, yes, those will impair your hearing.
No, I mean the ones with the normal plastic tip, which is similar to. Dog, you'll still be able to hear, but I think it would frustrate me that my hearing is reduced.
Nah. I think you need to be a doctor.
Are you telling me if you put something on your ear right now,
yes,
anything, you'll be able to hear? Absolutely. In the same way.
Absolutely. And here's the reason why. I'll justify that because I hate using AirPods to listen to music unless I'm in an extremely quiet place. Like if I'm in the office, then I want to play my music low, I can use AirPods for that. But if I'm like at the gym, AirPods are horrible at the gym. Absolutely horrible because I hear everything that's outside of my music. I don't hear the quality of the music, and now I have to turn it up. You see what I mean? Whereas I'm a headphones or I'm a JBLs with the rubber tips. Those ones you get for like $5 or whatever. Those are absolutely fantastic because they block out the noise from outside. Yeah, well. So anyway, point being here, AirPods are a revelation rather. And I was happy that Abu Oka, Nigeria, were all on that AirPod tip. And it was normal. Nobody made any faces. Nobody tried to be, it was just kind of like they're there and you don't even care. I noticed them because of all the shit that y'all have given me about having my AirPods on. But other than that, it was normal. It's
the fact that you find
it's chill.
The fact that you find comfort and resonance with Niger Brothers should say a lot about his.
Hey man,
you must just start reviewing your likes and wants.
Nah, man, nah. Me, I love Nigeria, man. Las Giri was good, man. That's a great nation full of great people. I'll go back in May or June. So again, it's lit. I'll be there with more chronicles from Nigeria. If I was a vlogger, I'd honestly release vlogs and stuff. But unfortunately, I'm not that talented. So I don't know. I don't know what I would do with that footage. But anyway, Mr. Moy, let's get into our first topic. Let's see what's here. What do you have? Okay. Yeah, I got some people with the kind of DAs border, even though we weren't really talking about border or whatever. But let's start with that because that's the big topic at the moment. We're gonna touch on again. There's this. We're having bigger conversations, right? Obviously centered around football, but there's bigger conversations to be had here. And this is where I want to start. Obviously, as you know, we spoke about it last week. Chelsea has been sanctioned by the government of the UK. We can't do a lot of things, transfer players, can't sell new tickets, all this other shit. Yeah, so you can look it up so that we don't take up too much time going over what we went over. But I've had some interesting conversations with Senna, a couple other guys, and people are trying to. I'll start here, and you can take the conversation wherever you want to go. People want to make it seem like, as Chelsea fans, we're being unreasonable. Obviously there are those dramatic fans who are like, "Hey, it's us against the world. Really, you guys are jealous, which is true. But anyway, that's not the point that I want to make. The only thing that I want to point out in terms of the sanctions against Chelsea, the club, because we happen to be owned by, Daddy Roman, I think it's honestly stupidity at its finest, on two fronts. Front number one, it's a British club first and foremost. It existed before Roman, and it's going to exist after Roman. It's an English team that employs English citizens, right? Chelsea employs, depending on the time of the year, anywhere between 1,000 to 5,000 people, right? And these are people, these are British people, right? Or at least people with the right to work in the UK, right? At the very minimum, and make money and pay taxes and try to live a life in England. And you're going to sanction that club where they can't make any revenue. You're just getting the TV money. Literally, that's it. And the season ticket holder money has already been, that revenue is already there, right? They're just realizing it from game to game. But the money's already been paid for season tickets. And you can't sell merchandise. So, like, you're crippling the club, right? And then obviously, if this goes into the summer where players can leave and we can't even re-sign them, you're basically, one, potentially bankrupting the club, two, crippling the ability for Chelsea to maintain its status as one of the three best clubs in London, the best club in the UK, three best clubs in the UK, the best club and most successful club of the last 20 years in the entire nation. So what's the point of that? All to sanction someone who isn't Putin. I'd get it if this was Putin's club, but it's not. It's one of his boys, right? At the end of the day, I don't think Putin is one Roman Abramovich conversation away from like, all right, guys, pack it in. Roman talked to me and I see it. You know what? This is actually fucked up what I'm doing. So let's call it a day. My bad. You know what I mean? Like, that's not where we are. So my thing is, if you're the government, stop trying to parade Chelsea in front of everybody because it's not a success on you. You haven't done something great. My thing is either, be aggressive towards Russia, send troops, or do some shit towards that will affect Putin specifically, or shut up. Stop trying to be like, hey, we've frozen his assets, because it's really not going to do shit. Yes, you're fucking with his money, but that's his money. That's not Putin. That's not Russia. So again, that's where my biggest frustration lies with all of this. And at the end of the day, the club Chelsea suffers for it. The English club suffers by the hands of the English government, which is why I'm saying it's stupidity at its finest. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I'd make the same argument whether Roman owned, Man U, Liverpool, any other team. I'd still say the very same. Obviously, I'd laugh because it's not my club. But like, still, in all seriousness, if we're using our heads, this is dumb, guys. Right. It really is. You see it inside.
Okay, so I think the bigger conversation here that I think we're having is about sanctions in general and their effectiveness or their efficacy. Historically, sanctions started, I think, after the First World War towards the Second World War. I think it's a strategy that was deployed by the League of Nations. So before the United Nations, we had the League of Nations. I think you remember that from like history and stuff. So before the United Nations, yes, the League of Nations. If you had a history teacher, he would have told you about the League of Nations. So what the League of Nations did, because military interventions in times of war are not the best resort, because that has a lot of unintended consequences. It has very damaging and very real destructive effects, if I should put it that way, right? And by destructive, I literally mean in the sense that what you'll get is, okay, Putin starts a war, the UK government sends soldiers die, Ukrainians die, Russians die, people die, damage to property, damage to the whatever country. You're basically sending people to die, right? So there's an acceptance in the global community that war is not the best way to deal with differences and conflict, whether it's economical.
That's not true.
Let me finish. Whether it's economical, political, whatever, right?
Please consider America in your argument. But
of course. There's that belief that, okay, the best way to persuade other people from the best way to persuade other people from acting out or acting wild is literally just to impose sanctions on them. And sanctions are meant as a persuasive measure. And by persuasion is, we hope that if we put sanctions on Putin, we put sanctions on those close to Putin, we put sanctions on anyone who has links to his businesses or Putin himself, he might then say, okay, I refrain, I'll take a step back, I won't do this anymore. Because the economic effects, although not as destructive as war, they apply pressure, right? So it's not a matter of breaking and forcing, because, once you send troops in, people die, innocent people die. But if you apply economic consequences, people experience hardship, but it's like I'm torturing you and not killing you, right?
But you might as well kill me if you're going have me lose my job and I've got no food.
But you're most,
and my life is miserable.
You're most likely. No, it's not the same. It's not the same. The UK staff that are employed by Chelsea.
I'd sooner die, bro.
Well, hold on. The UK staff employed by Chelsea have a very high likelihood in first world countries of leaving that club and going to get a job somewhere else, right? Lukaku, if he leaves Chelsea today, he will have another club that will take him. The whole first.
But he'll never make as much money as he's making right now on his contract. Never.
Maybe not. But
it's not a maybe, Senna.
But he'll. No. He might even get a bigger deal, like Rudiger. Rudiger will probably get a better contract wherever he's going.
Yeah, but Rudiger's playing for his life. That's the thing. Rudiger plays to the level of someone who deserves big money. Lukaku's getting big
that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying.
Who can afford him? The clubs that can afford Lukaku don't want or need him.
True. And I'm not saying it's perfect, right? But in the grander scheme of things, it's better than sending troops across. It's less destructive. And that's the purpose of sanctions. Now, whether or not they're effective, that's a debate, right? Because there's instances where sanctions have worked very well. The biggest example is apartheid South Africa, right? People say, protests and Umkhonto weSizwe and the ANC ended apartheid. But once it started to hit the pocket, and once the economy started going to shit, that's when the white people were like, okay, fine, maybe these Kafirs deserve rights. Let's give them. Right? Before then...
That's why.
No, before then...
That's why.
Apartheid South Africa started in 1940-something, 1948, when the National Party came to power. There were protests for a good 40 years. 40 years of protests, 40 years of violence, 40 years of people dying. Only when there were sanctions imposed and the economy was going to shit, they were like, okay, right, maybe these Kafirs can have a little bit of human dignity. Maybe we can have.
But wait, can I just hold you? I just hold you right there? Can I just hold you right there? The big difference in why it worked in SA and why it won't work in Russia and in other countries, right? I.e. Zim. The big difference is the apartheid government. Would you agree with me in saying they actually gave a fuck about the white people? Would you agree with me in saying that?
Oh, yes, 100%.
They cared, right? Right. Sanctions work if the government works for the people. So if the government is in a position where it's like, you know what, these are my people, there's no way that, whatever sanctions, whether let's say, there's no planes that are flying into South Africa. Let's say that's the sanction. No one flies in. South Africans cannot get to UK, Netherlands, they can't. There's no access to Europe, right? That's a big deal. And that type of pressure on the citizens will put pressure on the government, who will be like, you know what? Let's not, let's not keep up with this apartheid thing. Let's figure out some shit, right? Yes. However, let's now come to the reality. In Zim, for example, easy example, sanctions on Zim. Did it work? Absolutely not. Because why? Does the government care about its people? No. Did the government still have money in its pockets?
But you see, yes. the prevailing assumption is that a government should care about its people, right?
Yeah, because that's the whole point. That's the whole point of democracy, right?
100%. And then your hope would be, okay, fine. If you put sanctions on these people, and the citizens feel the squeeze too, they will vote these politicians out of power, or the politicians will see reason and implement measures to deal with whatever it is that's causing this negativity, right? So if it's illegal farm invasions, give the farms back to the rightful owners, or introduce a land redistribution program which is equitable and doesn't harm the economy or any human rights, right? Now the problem is the sanctions are, I'll say they're meant to be a squeeze measure, but it's always based on the assumption that you're dealing with a reasonable party.
But you're not. Which is why I'm saying.
In some instances, it works.
You want to look at this thing theoretically, right? Which is a big problem for me. You keep wanting to look at this as if we read the definition in the dictionary.
But it's not the definition.
But this thing should work.
In effect, practically, sanctions always get the purpose that they set out to get, right? The purpose is we're going to put economic pressure on this person. We're going to implement a cultural boycott or whatever, and the inflation rates will whatever, and the economy will go to shit. And then after that, it's up to you. What you do with
that's not the point of sanction. The sanctions are
but ultimately it gets to that.
They're meant to force change. They're meant to force change, right? That's what they're meant for. But then, so here's what you're saying, Sam. Here's what you're saying. What you were saying is beating a child, for example, is meant to have them behave. And what I'm saying is, for some kids, they just might behave, right? They might get beaten once.
May not be enough.
That was painful and sapined, right? And then there's other goons like Osen, who you beat them once, they're like, it's cool, bro. Me, my wounds will heal in the next, couple of hours, day or two, whatever, and it is what it is. I'm gonna go back to doing what I do. I'm gonna try and be more slick about doing what I'm doing.
Now, is the parent wrong for then thinking that actually, let me give this beating thing a shot?
Yes,
maybe
and no,
not.
Right. So here's the thing. All right. Okay, fine. Let me put it this way. They're not wrong for trying the beating, right? They're not wrong for trying. I don't blame you for trying the beating, but in the case of if we're using the same analogy, right? Essentially, what your parents just did was beat your sister in the hopes that you act right. That's what they did. They beat the shit out of your sister, and they're hoping your sister comes to you like, Senna dog. Senna, it's hot.
Yeah. 100%.
That's essentially what they've done. And
how many times do you see it?
That's not effective.
How many times do you see it in movies or real life or whatever, where to get to Thabo, I must get to his kid. To get to Thabo, I must get to his wife. Because we understand that those that surround you, those who have links to you, if they suffer, you will feel the pressure, right? If I kidnap your wife tomorrow, you'll feel the pressure to do something, right? If I kidnap a child tomorrow, you feel the pressure to do something, right? If I attack you, you might have a bigger tolerance for whatever violence and destruction I come at you. Now, if Chelsea was owned by Putin, and the UK government then decides, okay, no, we'll just sanction Vladimir Putin. What will then happen is Putin will say, I bet, let's go. As long as my children and my citizens are fine, Mina, I'll take whatever hit you hit at me. Now, once we start saying, okay, Thabo, we can see that when you have a high propensity for pain, let me get to your wife, right? I start putting pressure on your wife, then you're like, okay, fine, fuck, I get it. Guys,
but you're assuming Roman holds the rank of, comparably of wife, of which what I'm saying is, maybe he once did, but it's like saying
he did.
You kidnap. He did. But not that he does now.
No, the history of the whole thing is, right, Russia was it had state, or the Soviet Union had everything state-owned, right? So all entities, electricity, big businesses, whatever, state-owned. And then some president, I forget his name. I forget the name of the president who was before Putin.
I think it's Zelensky.
Yeah, Zelensky or something like that. He comes in, and then he's like, privatize this shit. So then the oligarchs, the big dons, they then start taking.
They all got
a piece and a
they
piece.
Got those businesses for pennies on the dollar.
Exactly, and then they were obviously businesses worth 100 billion, getting 3 million. Now all of a sudden he's rich, and now he needs to sports watch. Then Putin comes into power, and Putin says, "Yay, all that nonsense you were doing out of the previous guy, I don't like it." Right? So he sends all these other guys to jail. And then Roman is like, alright, my G, I'll be your homie. I'll do everything you say. You are my boy. As long as you don't send me to prison, it's fine. And that's how he became.
But he sold back his
close.
shares in that company, though.
No, he's got
He
many
sold them back
businesses
to the
though.
government. Yeah, no, he has.
He
He's
supplies
made money. He
aluminium
was
to the
smart.
Russian army.
Yeah, but okay, again, America does. There's so many people. There's so many guys who are supplying to the American government who are out here bombing people in the Middle East. So again,
Of course.
let's not have the morality
And they also deserve the
conversation.
smoke.
But they'll never get the smoke. But anyway, that's not the point.
No.
The point here that I'm making, Senna, is Roman is as good as an ex. If your ex gets kidnapped, Senna, and someone goes, Senna, for your ex, I'm gonna need 100,000 rand.
That's a bit of foreshadowing.
Are you not laughing
yeah.
off the foot?
I'm laughing, but I don't think. Here's the thing. I don't think Roman is an ex, right? I think
He's
Roman
an ex,
is.
dog.
No, he's a friend. He's a friend. It's probably
Not like that.
I'll probably equate it to Hanani gets kidnapped, and then I must now do something.
It's not that. That's why you're getting it wrong. It's not a Hanani situation, bro. This is Greg.
It
I'm
is,
sure.
dog. You're full of.
This is someone calling you and telling you, Craig, we want 100 mil for him. It will be like, hey, listen,
But-
you know, like this is a tough situation, but y'all be easy though. You know what I mean? Like it's not that, and that's what frustrating me. They're making it seem like Putin is losing sleep over this shit. This nigga really isn't, man.
So
like
the
you're
thing
trying
is,
to tell me
the way
he didn't see this coming.
What I'll say is, to the UK government's defense, their actions towards Chelsea have been consistent towards every other Russian business, right? So even if you're working on UK deals now,
It's not a Russian business though.
No. With how it's a Russian-owned business. It's owned by Russia.
Yeah, it's owned by a Russian, but again, which
makes
is what I'm
sense.
telling you, there's special circumstances because Chelsea Football Club is part of the community of London, right? Like there's deep ties with the community. So at the end of the day, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
No, but
like it's a different situation.
And the argument
freezes money, but you let the club operate because at the end of the day, it's a British club.
But the argument I have made was the way they've treated Chelsea is consistent with the way they've treated all Russian-owned entities across the UK. So even now, right? I'll tell you,
And that shouldn't.
I'll
be
tell
the
you
case.
guys. I'll tell you guys out of curiosity, right? You pick up an agreement today with an entity based in UK, and they're dealing with the person who owns it is a Russian, right? What you will get is a lot of those deals are being cancelled, terminated because clients don't want to contract with them because of the UK list, the UK sanctions, the UK regulations. They don't want to be seen to be involved. Is part of the sanctions, and you hope that. And these aren't even people connected to Putin, right? These are just normal, like an ordinary Russian businessman based in Russia who just happens to own a UK company, right?
Yeah.
Like you just happen to be a Russian who set up a restaurant in the United Kingdom. Just because of what's happened with Putin, they're no longer contracting with you. They're no longer dealing with you in any way, right? That's what makes. That's why I think a lot of Chelsea fans are viewing it under the myopic view of it's just happening to Chelsea. Obviously, it will be like that because that's how it's reported in the news. But I think the bigger picture is it's happening to all Russian-owned entities. Now,
And
I get
again,
your point.
has Putin taken a step back? No, he hasn't.
But the implications for Putin might be worse than if he had taken a step back. Because after this, you're going to come back and you're going to have so many Russian businesses, so many Russian people suffering economically. You're cut off from the rest of the continent. It's not going to be nice.
Okay, you're saying it like Russia doesn't even remember. There's Russians old enough to remember the same shit.
True.
There's Russians who are old enough to remember
thing is,
the good old days.
Russia will suffer economically, but the West and the UK,
But what's new?
the West and the UK will have that. Okay, at least we didn't have an all-out war with them, because the worst thing you can have now is powers with nuclear weapons fighting each other. That's the last thing we all need.
Okay, and then so you starved the Russian nation, right? Because you're not gonna starve Putin. Putin will be fine, right? And I'm sure Roman and the gang they
they'll be
have
fine.
access to money. I'm sure these guys had contingency plans to say, listen, one day shit might hit the roof and I might be a target. So them niggas are fine. But then at the end of the day, ordinary Russian citizens, right? The one guy who does happen to own the restaurant, at a random corner in London, right? He doesn't have backup plans, right? And all of them man are gonna suffer. Yes, we don't have nuclear war. We're grateful for that. But the solution cannot be, right, all the Russian citizens become collateral damage, and then
Yes.
we're just hoping Putin has a change of heart. When this country has a documented history of Utubega, like it's literally there, right?
It is
so
there,
we know
and you hope.
my man will
And
not
you
blink.
hope.
He won't blink though. What do you mean you hope? Senna,
You
if
hope.
know your
That's
mother
what
will
sanctions
never,
are.
Never,
They hope.
ever on God's green earth sanction Senna going to the strip club, and you're like, you know what? Let me ask my mom today. She said, I want to go to the strip club. What? Why? Why
But
even
that's
thinking
what- that's
about asking
why-
that question when you know she will never agree?
That's
So
why
Senza,
I made the kidnapping your wife analogy, right? Instead of going into an all-out fist fight with you, which you might have a high propensity for pain, I will say, okay, fine. Let me try and hit Tabo where he cares about the most, right? It's not guaranteed that if I kidnap your wife tomorrow, you will act. It's not guaranteed. It's not written anywhere, right? I don't know this for a fact, right? Maybe you could just mize me.
But if you already know what it means,
maybe you
I'm
could
not
mize.
that nigga. Wuti, I will poker face. No, not maybe. But you niggas know. Because I've done it before. That's the thing. And this is what I'm saying. You're missing the point.
No, I'm not missing the point.
Like, you don't play poker with Putin. Like, he's not the guy that I would be like, right, I'm gonna poker face this guy. Let's see what happens. Because at the end of the day, the people that have the most to lose are ordinary citizens who just want to live, who don't even have influence over Putin. Like, literally, that's who's for suffering, right? Everybody now is being any Russian citizen is being demonized.
They're not being demonized, but they're just saying, my guy.
They are being demonized.
They say, my
They
guy,
are.
look what
Russians
we
are.
can do to your people. They just say, my guy, look what we can do to your people. If you don't stop your bullshit, this is what will happen. They will starve. They will go
And
hungry.
the bullshit hasn't stopped, has it?
No, it hasn't.
The bullshit
It
hasn't
hasn't.
stopped.
But that's
Yeah,
and
and
that's
it's
why
not
I'm
going
saying
to
the
stop.
efficacy is still debatable. But what you will have is that pressure.
Senna, it's not.
That pressure. And I've given you
As-
examples of when
honestly-
sanctions have worked. They worked in apartheid South Africa.
You gave me one example. And I told you that was the perfect situation because the government
was it the
gave
perfect
a
situation?
fuck. I can give you at least 5 African countries where the government does not give a fuck and sanctions have not worked. And that's my point. If the government doesn't care, if your president doesn't care, then if his pockets are still fine,
And
then
then
what's
no,
the
no,
beef?
But then what's the solution
the
then,
beef?
Thabo? You can't just let it be, right? You have to try something. And your
Hey,
solution was
bruh,
send troops.
They found
That
a
is-
way to get.
No, no, no,
They
what
found
I'm saying
a way
is,
to get what's his name, Gaddafi out of here, right? They found a way to get his ass out of
no,
here.
but you can't do
right?
that.
So clearly-
Gaddafi is not at the same level as Putin, right? This nigga's got nuclear weapons. Are you telling me you're
Well-
going to say, okay, no, fine, let's fight fire for fire with Putin? What will happen? We're going to be in the middle of a war. That is more destructive.
Yeah, but then-
can I tell
but
you
here's-
that is more
here's my
destructive
point.
than sanctions could ever be. Sanctions are a pressure measure, right? A pressure measure which could
True,
work,
true.
a pressure measure which could not work, depending on. Sanctions literally depend
Okay,
on the
question.
insanity of
Honest
the other
opinion.
person.
Honest opinion. Give me a percentage chance. Realistically, what is your honest opinion of the likelihood of sanctions working? Give me a percentage.
50%. I think 50%.
Ah.
It's honestly 50%. There's 50% chance it will work.
In-
50% chance it won't work.
There's no way. Like, I would never ever trust.
Let me tell you something.
With the
Zim-
leadership of
Zim-
a
Zim-
nation. If this is what you genuinely believe. If
Okay,
this is- you
Thabo,
genuinely
what's
think
your
there's a 50-50
solution
shot
then?
that
Okay,
sanctions are
fine,
gonna
fine.
work?
What's your solution? Outside
No,
of
no,
sanctions, what's your
listen.
solution? Because you can't just say a problem, right? There
Listen.
has to be a solution. What is your solution?
There's a solution.
What is your solution?
But it's not the best solution.
What is
There's
your
this
solution?
thing, which is mana pay. Let me preface this because I can't just blurt things out. There's no thought process. All I'm saying is, right? We are Zimbabweans here, And every Zimbo knows. How many times have we voted when doing course?
Here's what
How many
happened.
times have people protested?
No.
when
And
doing
let me
course?
tell you.
And
Let me tell you
everybody
how.
knows in me for things to change. Always know what need to be done.
No.
But I'm not going to be a person to be like, hey, let's go to war in the Mies for change to be there, because I ain't trying to have war, right? Like I'm personally not at that point where I want to have war. But I know what. Hey, listen, if ours was serious, that's really where shit needs to go. But listen, I'm not going to be a person who's going to be like, right, yours must do this, what, sitting pretty from overseas. So I get it.
Do you know that?
But all I'm saying is
Zim,
everybody knows deep down, if things should change, we know what to do.
What
and
must
if
happen,
things never
Tom?
get to the point where people are like, listen, we're going to do that.
Are you going to go to war?
Are
you going to go to war? Are you going to pick up a gun and
I just
go?
said.
When are you?
That's what I said. I just told you now. To me,
Are you going to pick up the gun and go?
I'm trying to pick up a gun and go to war. Right?
So why is it an expectation that a government should order people, other people, not yourself, to pick up a gun and then go do it?
Yes. Because when you sign up to be in the army, that's what you're signing up for. Yes, you're literally saying, hey, at some point, someone might tap me and be like, my guy, it's time to go.
Half the victims of war aren't the soldiers.
That's what you go to the army for.
Half the victims of war aren't the soldiers, it's the civilians. The damage to
Sinner,
civilians
I get you.
is what no one can absolutely sign up to.
I completely understand. I'm with you and I agree. Uti, the most destructive way, right, you could go is war. That is the most destructive and devastating way that you can go. But when what you said to me was change, you didn't say what's the cleanest way or the nicest way. You said change, right? That's what you asked me.
We started
you
this
said
conversation
change.
with. I said, if not sanctions, then what? That was my question, right? Because you said you don't agree with.
This whole conversation is on the inactive. What's his name? The sanctions not.
You said sanctions.
Right?
You said sanctions are down. Sanctions are not effective. Blah blah. And I'm telling you, no. Look,
it's idiotic.
They can be effective, right? Sanctions hit Zim. Zim economy went to shit. People voted out ZANU-PF. ZANU rigged the elections, right? That's the way in which sanctions were intended to work. But there was an external factor which made them null and void, right? Now, what I'm saying is, right, if not sanctions, then what?
Wait, hold on. Let's go back to what you just said, right? You said, yes, ZANU-PF rigged people. There was that time with Tsvangirai where things almost changed, right? But the point is, ZANU is still in power. Zim is a shithole at the moment. Nobody's happy right now, except the people benefiting in unethical ways in Zim right now.
Yeah, true.
So therefore, are you, Senamiso Moyo, saying that sanctions were effective in Zim?
No, I am not. But I am saying the alternative is not favorable as you would think.
Again, all I'm saying, I'm not saying that the war and fighting is the best.
It's a compromise
solution. I get that. No. Here's the thing. I understand why everybody, especially with Russia, and this is why I'm saying sanctions won't work. Is the very reason why people are bound to go to war with Russia, right? Is the very reason I'm saying that the sanctions will not work, because Putin is not going to blink. The answer is yes to that. Putin is not going to blink is the answer to both those points. Why those countries won't go to war and why the sanctions won't work. It's the same answer. And that's my biggest problem with it.
So what's your solution?
Everybody knows it.
What's your solution? I can say to you now that I believe sanctions are probably the most reasonable solution at this moment in time that will make sure that pressure is put on, but there won't be significant harm on innocent civilians.
Again, at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure there's going to be Russian people right now who are going to be like, nigga, bro, I'm starving, bro. I'm starving. Like, you can't be saying, you can't tell niggas what you know, this is the best way to go. But best way for who? For who? Because it's not helpful to the Russians. The Russians who didn't even want this beef, who just want to live a life and continue on. It's not the best. It's the best case for the rest of the world because, like you said, the damage isn't there in terms of right. But there's a lot of damage that's going to.
Of course, but it's not as bad.
and they might head towards hyperinflation.
Germany, it is not as bad as
Zim
war.
all over again.
The one thing I'm grateful for.
You're not the right
I
person
am,
to say that,
dude.
though.
The one thing
you can't speak. No, because you can't speak for the
but,
Russian
okay,
people and be like,
at least
nobody
speak
got
for
bombed.
Zimbabwean, right? We experienced economic sanctions, worst time of our lives. The economy went to shit. But I have witnessed what war has done to other countries on the continent, and I'm like, hey, you know what? Things are shit, but at least I'm not dodging bullets when I'm walking home to Burnside.
You just have no brain.
But hey, guys, at least I'm not dodging a thing. At least the bread shop is still there.
Your life is shit. You can't get a decent job. That dream that you've been dreaming of having a job, getting married, having kids, not you don't have to say, that doesn't have to be the dream, but just getting money and living a nice life and drinking yourself to sleep, that shit don't even exist because we are in fuel queues and, if you can't get out the country...
Are you telling me a fuel queue is worse than dodging an AK-47?
Bruh, I'm not saying, listen, I'm not the person to say that. All I'm just saying is you're way too comfortable with being like, hey, at least it's not a bullet. Because I know people right now who are like, you know what? I'd honestly rather have war. But at least I know there'll be change.
Who?
I know people with that mentality in Zim right now.
In Zim
There's
now,
plenty of in
they
Zim
must
right
come
now.
to the podcast so that we
we've
can
had these
talk to them.
conversations. Bruh, actually, I know a perfect person who will come and tell you this shit yourself.
But we need a civil war.
Said that, I'm true to you, bruh. Hungry earns. No. When someone is hungry and they see no future in the country, I'm telling you, war is not such a bad idea at the end of the day.
Right. Fine. When are you, Tabo? What do you think the UK government should do?
I don't have the way my mind thinks is to have solutions, right? Solutions to problems. That's the way that my mind works. Something that is going to work, right? And like you said, right now it's just two terrible options. I all I can do at the moment is criticize the way that they're going about it in certain aspects, but there's really nothing the world can do. If you're not willing to go to war, there's really nothing that you can do with an individual like Putin. If it was Germany who was reclaiming, is it Austria or Poland, one of the two, right? If Germany's like, hey, yo, this is our land, dog, we want it back. And then there's sanctions imposed on Germany by the EU and the rest of the world. Now that is absolutely the best way to go about it because the German government actually gives a fuck about the German people. So when the German people are now hungry and like, hey, yo, what the fuck? Our economy is going to shit.
But you're the one who's being theoretical.
Then that's going to affect change. Because they're going to put pressure on their government. But if it's a situation of a country where we know human rights have been neglected for so long, we've seen this in here. Not even, Senna, we don't even have to guess, dog.
Okay, fine.
There's no guesswork
and that's
being
why.
done
And
with
that's
Russia.
why.
History book.
I'm very aware. I'm very
They're
aware.
not gonna work.
But in the Nicho, I mean,
So why are you championing a system that's not going to work?
I'm not championing it, right? But I'm saying, what is the alternative in real life, not in the history book?
What is the alternative
tab?
The
one that you'll decide on, right? You're sitting there with Boris. You're sitting there with Boris Johnson. You're sitting there with Boris Johnson and whoever and all these Labour Party people and the Conservatives, and they're like, right, Tabo, okay, fine. You're saying sanctions are dumb, right? People are being killed by Russia and Ukraine. What do we do? Send troops.
Listen. No. Send troops. That's exactly what I'd say. I'd be like, not serious and send troops. But in the spirit of diplomacy, I would be like, listen, let's try to talk to Putin and be like, ceasefire.
Let's try to talk to Putin.
Honestly,
you spent the last half hour saying Putin won't listen to sanctions. You think you'll listen to a conversation? You think you'll just come to the table and say, I would take my chances trying to speak to the let's talk. My guy.
I would take my chance. I think there's a higher percentage chance of us coming together, kissing Putin's ass and be like, listen, Putin, let's have a discussion. We've brought the Ukrainians, you are here, and we're mediating. Can we have a conversation?
You're literally negating every point you've said about Putin over the last half hour. Literally, you literally
I'm
said
not. And
Putin doesn't listen to shit.
Senna,
He's
you put
stubborn,
me in a
he's
corner. You
this.
ask me for a solution, right?
Exactly, and I'm saying, Guti,
Yeah, and all I'm saying,
your solution is
You know
worse
why-
than sanctions. At least
Yes,
sanctions show a strong hand.
because the reason, no. The reason why I'm saying you'd rather not sanction Russia and just try to have a conversation is because I fully acknowledge Putin is going to be hard-headed, right? But by not sanctioning Russia, there are not going to be thousands, millions of innocent Russian citizens who are going to suffer. That's my point.
And if he
they
just
don't deserve
says no.
to suffer. They don't deserve it. They didn't ask for this shit. They didn't ask for this shit,
And
bro.
if he just
so
says
like,
no-
why are they now being the ones who suffered the most?
Okay.
If he says no, you try it, bro.
And then you leave it.
You try it. You literally, you just have to try it. I'm just thinking about it from the perspective of the Russian people who literally they don't want this, dog. They couldn't care less for the land. Yeah, exactly. So this is my solution to just be like, nah, it's fucked. You know, it's fucked to be in a situation, because I can relate as a Zimbabwean. It's fucked to try and just be living a normal life. Nothing. I don't even want millions, dog. I just want a normal life. That's all that I want, and I can't even get that. And it's because of my government. Some beef that I'm not privy to, and next thing, hey, America sanctioned that. America, but it's America sanctioned me. I can't even make a bank transfer. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck, dog? You know, and that's my biggest frustration with the sanctions, is that it'll target. I've seen it in Zim. The ZANU Owens still had their paper. They found ways around it, but ordinary Zimbabweans did not. They did not find their ways around. There are some who were lucky, who left the country and started new lives. But how many Zimbabweans are displaced right now? How many are around the world? You, me, and millions others are around the world, and millions more who couldn't get out, right? Who are in difficult situations. But guess what? ZANU's still papered up, though. ZANU's still in power, though, right? So in the grand scheme of all of these things, the sanction didn't do jack shit, bro, besides just continue to displace all
And
of
talking to him,
That's literally what it is.
I can bet you that has a higher likelihood of doing jack shit.
But at least the Zimbabwean people, or in this case, the Russian people, would not have, suffered.
It's like,
to the extent that they
it's like
suffered.
Putin. Okay, my G, we beg you, don't invade Ukraine. Then he's like, no, I invade Ukraine tomorrow. And then he invades Ukraine. Then what? Yeah, it's terrible.
Russian
But then,
accent.
and then what?
Then the Russian people are fine.
But the Ukrainian
That's my
people
point.
are
The Russian
in a
people are
war.
okay. Yeah, again, I'm not saying it's perfect, right? But at the end of the day, like you or even, sending troops there to be like, don't cross this line. I don't know. Again, I'm not in politics for a reason, right? But all I'm saying is, having millions of people starve is not a solution. It's not. When you know a nigga won't blink, like, rather do nothing. Like, if we're not willing to take this on out, Gaddafi style or something, then rather just leave it, bro.
But you can't just leave it.
It's like, if you don't know how to pry, and we know what to chisa, just don't even try to pry the teams, bro. Cheer. Like, we'll find another way. We'll order Uber Eats. We don't have to pry the teams. If you don't know how to pry, let's just leave it. Like, there's ways around this. Anyway, guys, wow. We've almost gone on for like 50 minutes about the situation. But yeah, Hussein Alapo, I personally just think, he's operating.
No, I'm not. I'm literally just saying, if not sanctions, then what, right? It probably is the only measure that you can use at this moment in time that is the best of both worlds, right? It prevents immediate harm. It prevents a war. No one wants a war. But at the same time, it's a punitive measure which applies pressure. Yes, it can work. Yes, it may not work.
So what's your word to the Russian people that are now tremendously affected right now? What's your word to them? What are you saying
Protest against Putin. Get him out.
The same Putin who is willing to imprison and kill opposition. That same Putin. That's who you're telling me to protest against.
But it's worse for you if the country goes to war. I can tell you now. If the country goes to war, you're fucked.
And that's what. Oh my God, Senna, you. Oh man, like if I was a Twitter HUD, I would have used all of the fucking words of how you are invalidating people's feelings and you're using your.
No, you're invalidating people's feelings. Like, so you're saying, guys, Assam Ben Mbini. You're saying let's go to war.
Yeah.
How is me? Wait. How is me saying?
I'm getting.
Wait, how is me saying? How is me saying? Hey guys, sanctions is tense, but at least it's not war. Better than Assam Ben Mbini. Like, who's meant to give their life up for the sake of a cause?
Bro, at least it
can't. I think
the Ukrainians are not leaving town.
I think you underestimate the devastating. I think you underestimate. You underestimate the devastating effects of war. I can tell. I think
I'm not underestimating.
I think you are.
But you are underestimating how devastating that can be. It's not on. It does not look sexy on TV.
No. I think, dude. I literally started this by saying sanctions are not nice. We're all here because of sanctions. I started by saying sanctions are not nice.
They affect the wrong person. Senator,
and
you
war,
can't be the
war
perpetrator
affects.
And then chaya all of your other family members.
So
it doesn't work
does
like that.
War.
In fact,
war affects people, the wrong people, in the worst way. You will literally be walking down the street, bang, your house is on fire. It can't.
What, bruh, if there's if there was a war in Cape Town, you'd still be in Cape Town right now. Exactly.
That's why I'm saying no one wants a war. Why would anyone want a war?
No, but where are the Russian people? But the thing is, if you have sanctions, you're just supposed to sit there, dog, and starve.
Here's the thing. No one's saying you'll starve. But I'm saying it is a less restrictive means of achieving the purpose.
What do you mean? No one is going to say no one is saying.
No, you might stop. But what I'm saying, it is a less restrictive means of achieving the purpose. War is a very restrictive and destructive.
If it's between starvation and a random bomb hitting me, let the bomb hit me. Let me go out quick and quit.
If they gave you an option, if they gave you an option, stay in sanctioned Zimbabwe or go fight the DRC war. What are you doing? Sas? You're not going to war.
It depends on the situation.
You're not going to war.
No. Senna, here's the thing. That's flawed logic. The reason why that's flawed logic is because if you are assuming that it's the same Tawo who has had the same life, obviously I'm going to opt for sanctioned Zim. Because why? I know the life we lived under sanctioned Zim and I was comfortable. I had a lot of privilege. But there's a lot of other people that did not have the same level of privilege. And which is why I'm telling you.
No. You clearly haven't lived in a war-torn country. I think you need to talk to people who, like, I've met people from DRC who are saying, hey, dude, I came to South Africa because rather I fight poverty. That's why there's so many asylum seekers chilling in Marabastad. No. That's why there's so many poor people chilling in Marabastad in Pretoria with nothing, not a cent to their pocket, nothing, zero. Abala luto. They come to live in poverty in South Africa, running away from war. That is the premise of an asylum seeker. That is the premise of a refugee permit, because they realize ukuthi maiji, war is not pretty. Rather you come and kwabanisa economically struggle, whatever it is, because empini akudlalwa.
Again, we're arguing essentially two terrible options, and all I'm saying is, you're saying I'm being insensitive to the war part, I'm saying you're being insensitive to the sanctions part, because at the end of the day, like I said, they are, and all I can do is talk about what I know. I can't speak of DRC, I can't speak of these other things. What I know is Zim, right? And there are conversations that I've had with Zimbos who've been like, listen, bruh, a war would have been better. And it's not the right, no one is saying that's the right answer. All I'm just trying to convey to you and to everybody listening is there are people in Zim who are at that state mentally to be like, nah, this shit is not worth it, bro. my life is not what my life is shit right now. I'm literally a hamster on a wheel. You know, if someone put a gun in my hands and said, "Hey, listen, they potentially could change. There's a high likelihood that you're going to be dead."
Go find that person.
I'm telling you, the list
All right,
is
that's
much,
fine.
much longer.
Go find
than
that
you
person.
think.
Bring them here. Tell them they don't want to be in a war-torn country.
Okay. This is me. I'm telling you.
Your privilege when yours is insane. Because I think you're literally looking at this from my club. Hey, our chairman person, we can't buy players. I think a lot of Chelsea fans are biased in that way. It's not even. That's why I didn't. That's why I didn't even bring it up. But I think I've noticed just from the trend of Chelsea fans online, it's like, why can't we buy players? Dog, like, let the process unfold. They'll sell the club and then we'll move on. There's a bigger picture.
The Chelsea situation is different. The Chelsea situation is special. And obviously, like I said, there's a lot of Chelsea fans who are the us against the world mentality, and they're being dramatic. And I admit it. I said, yeah, absolutely. There's those ones who are dramatic. But my case, the case that I've stated, has been, in my opinion, very logical in the sense that, bro, what the fuck are you doing trying to parade Roman around?
Because it's close to Putin.
You've done something. Do something, actually. No, but it's not the way that they said they're trying to, you know.
Maybe you freeze his assets. He goes to his boy and says, "My guy."
British government is being dodged.
Maybe you freeze his assets. He goes to Roman. He goes to Putin and says, "Hey, my guy, let's stop." The initials. Okay. Remember the initial statement when he was suspected was, "Oh no, Abramovich will push for peace talks between Ukraine and Russia." Under what capacity?
Mm-hmm.
If he
well, I mean, obviously his mother.
If he doesn't know Putin,
he might be able to.
Manje, you see, it's contradictory, dog.
But at the end of the day, yes, someone can try. I can be like, guys, you know what? I will try and knock some sense into Sen. And Kanye, that yesterday we've spent an hour going back and forth, right? We're supposed to be best friends. I can't even convince you.
I'm trying to convince you to see reason.
So you niggas, exactly. So now, all right, let's since you want to play it that way, if I'm the Putin of this, and now they've taken away all of your money, Senna, there's nothing that you can do financially, and they've said, Senna, go and convince Tab. You failed to convince me in a neutral conversation, but now when I've actually got some skin in the game and some other shit, right, with the whole world watching, you think you can convince me? Or what I'm doing is wrong?
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. But the likelihood of it working is high. The likelihood of it working
if someone came and said, convince Senna, I would happily tell them, listen, dog, you're wasting your time. Zazama civili, but you're wasting your time. I would not go, okay,
exactly.
It's 50-50.
And that's why
Senna is one of the most stubborn people
and
I've
that's
ever
why
met
you
in
cast
life.
your net wide.
So what am I doing?
Net wide. Then you say, right, Tabo, I'm going to kidnap Busang, I'm going to kidnap Tiang, I'm going to kidnap your wife. Let's see what you say after that. Then the likelihood becomes higher the more of the stuff you take.
Oh, all right.
Guys, don't listen to Tabo. Don't go to war.
It's our privilege. It's
don't
okay.
go to war. This isn't even about privilege.
It's okay.
War is not a thing.
No. Listen, don't misrepresent. No, don't misrepresent.
That's what you've been saying the last
I
hour, my
say
guy.
let's go to war.
Personally,
don't misrepresent. No, it's not. It's not. Anyone who walks away from this conversation and thinks I said let's go to war is.
You said you'd pick a grenade.
Like there was
over
two
economic sanction, and that's what I'm saying.
Because at the end of the day, if the question is change, if the question is change, then it is what it is. But all that I've been trying to argue is that this thing of sanctions being not so bad.
I did not say they are not bad.
A position of privilege.
I didn't. I didn't say they're not bad.
You said they're not so bad
compared to war.
That's what you said.
Compared to war.
Yes.
But do you know what war is?
And what I'm telling you is that you are not in a position to say that.
But I'm telling you that I'm informed enough to tell you that war is not a pretty thing.
Nigga, get the fuck out of here, bro. You weren't there with Gaddafi.
No, but I literally told you of a guy I met in Marabastad.
You had an AK-47.
I told you of a guy I met in Marabastad who trekked all the way from Congo to here.
Okay.
to suffer poverty in South Africa because he couldn't
Yes.
deal with the war
Yes.
in the DRC. And
Okay.
that's what is informing it.
Nyakuzwa Sibi. Sena, you met one guy. You met one guy.
Okay.
That's the thing. At the end of the day, we cannot draw conclusions with I met one guy. Like me, I cannot draw conclusions with I've spoken to. Again, it's a maximum of honestly, what I recall is a maximum of about 3 or 4 people who shared the opinion of like, you know what, I'd rather go to war, right? And it's not me saying that it's right. All I'm saying is those people's feelings are valid at the end of the day. They're valid on no matter which side of the coin you're on. Those feelings are valid because you don't know what that nigga's dealing with. There's no way, right? If the sanctions are happening and someone's like, yo, my life is shit, it's bullet. What are you going to say, sir? But at least it wasn't war. But because to them, like, death was the only alternative, right? So, like, we're not allowed to be in the position to be like, hey, yo, listen, which is what I'm saying. You can't then, if you got the message that tells you, yeah, just go to war. Then
if your takeaway from
you
all
have
this,
to respect people.
and if your takeaway with all this was, Witty, I'm being privileged and I think sanctions are better than war, my guy, then you weren't listening clearly. Because what I'm saying is
you definitely.
No. I'm saying there is a purpose to sanctions. There is a purpose, and it is a less restrictive. It is a less.
Let us know if Senna was being privileged.
It is a less restrictive.
I'm very curious
and less destructive.
I'll even put up a poll.
Oh, you should do it. It is less destructive than
or put up a poll.
It's less destructive than
okay. I know Siyabuza Sibyland. But the question of the day was Senna speaking
I like
from a position
the
of
thing
privilege?
is, I think every time you feel like you can't make your point, you start attacking me personally, which is, I don't know.
Which was the personal attack?
I'm being privileged. How? I'm just making a point. Tabo, look at it this way.
No, it's okay. Senna is fine. You know what? I've
also done mine.
The people have heard.
I've done mine.
The people have
I've done mine.
So Sizabuzat, and then again we'll come back here and Nizawuhleka because I genuinely do think that, anyway, it's fine. Let me leave it because you're catching feelings with the privilege. But it's fine. It's fine. Maybe I could have.
All I'm saying is, my guy,
I could have been wrong, Sibyland, but it is what it is.
Remove the Chelsea lens from this, and you will see the reason.
And what's funny is this whole conversation had nothing to do with Chelsea in terms of the bigger.
That's how it started.
Of the conversation. Yeah, no, it started there, but in terms of where the argument really was, it had nothing to do with Chelsea. So you can't say I was being emotional because we were talking about war and sanctions. That's what we were talking about.
All right, my guy.
Not Chelsea. But Oksalayo is,
let Roman sell that thing. Let Roman sell that thing. There's bigger things than football.
No, you're selling. No, because we've got Saudi buyers coming in.
That will be worse than the Russians.
Yeah, probably it'll be worse than the Roman. But this is what I'm trying to tell you. This same government that you're busy clapping hands for them.
How am I clapping hands for
them?
You're
clapping hands for them. And it's like,
how am I clapping hands for them?
I've got receipts. You and Hanan have got receipts for you.
How am I clapping hands for them? Me and Hanan, what me and Hanani have said is, my guy, this is the purpose of sanctions.
Hello. We're moving on. So exactly. Because you know what? You really try, guys.
I think Ogunye Tabo, you must just accept okay, maybe this time. Certain approaches are okay.
Senna, you must also learn to be humble. Sometimes.
I accept some of your points, but I'll disagree where I don't agree. You sound like a Ndebele parent. Nxa umuntu usumtshelile sokuthi hey ulengane hey awulale nkosi yami. You sound like a Ndebele mother. Like a Ndebele mother. Ndebele parent. Nxa usumtshela umama ukuthi hey queen, no listen, this is my point. Hey awungilalele ngimdala kulawe ulenkani. Hey aw. Yeah.
Anyway. All right, Mr. Moy. Travel swindler. What's going on with that? Well, Let's decompress, guys. It was an hour of political talk. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. That's what's going on in the world right now. Next week, who knows? Who knows what we'll talk about next week? But it is what it is. We'll give you a daily dose of toxicness and stupidity. Laughs, because it's Friday. It's Friday, so smile. We're done with class for today. Books. Let's have some fun. Travel swindler, alright.
Dog, so there's this woman from Durban, right? Her name is Tasneem Taz Musa. She created a travel company called Hello Darlings. And since then, she has made more than 100 million rands in payments. Right? So what happens is, I think you want to book a holiday or whatever, you go to a company and then you're like, hey, okay, Nancy Mali Lapa, book me a trip to Turkey, book me a trip to Dubai, book me a trip to Mauritius. This is about 3,000 people that made inquiries and paid her money. And they did not get these holidays. They tried contacting her, right? And then the numbers don't go through. So obviously they've been scammed, they've been ghosted, they have been swindled. So anyways.
And she made 100
million rand. Fuck. So anyways, people then started reporting her to the Dubai police, because obviously if you're paying a trip to Dubai, there's this travel agent, blah, blah, blah. The police are like, thank you for contacting the Department of Criminal Investigation in Dubai. Kindly note that we've received your complaint. We'll get back to you shortly with results. That is all. They said they've taken procedures, but ultimately this woman has scammed people, of like a lot of money. Like, so it's not just romantic swindlers that are out there. There's holiday swindlers too in South Africa.
That's wild. So wait, she's in SA promising trips
around the world, right? So it's not just Dubai. So she has a travel company, so she'll be like, right, I'll book you a trip to the Maldives. Then you pay 10K and then boom, disappears.
Sure, that'd be sick.
So there's a high chance that she might have fled the country. So guys, obviously, be careful out here.
No, that's mad.
There's even an ad that says
vet your people.
Pay upfront and get a 50% off your trip to Dubai. And then obviously once you see that ad online, you start bam bam bam, click, and sending them money.
Okay. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Let's see what is here. Right. So I've got some stuff in my bookmarks that I told myself to look at. Okay. So it's two tweets. I'll start with this one. Twakona, let me know if you agree or not. Being celibate is a red flag. How much was you fucking that you now need a break?
I think I've seen that before.
I kind of get that logic though. Like, because anything, you know what I mean? If I've been in situations where, I've eaten too much.
No, you're like, nah.
I'm disgusted with myself. No, my boss, I know. This is not it. So for someone to decide with you,
then you start going.
I need to close my legs.
Then you start
to pull my pants up,
going on those liquid diets. Then you start going vegan.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. How much were you eating for you to then decide?
When now you say, no, I'm never drinking again. What happened? Every time someone says, nah, fuck alcohol, I'm never drinking again. What happened? What happened the night before? They drank too much.
I'm not sure if it's because
they abused the alcohol.
Obviously, back on Abantu who there could be two explanations. The first being the ones who didn't really enjoy it. The things they didn't enjoy doing the things, so they're like, okay, I can now just go in to take a sabbatical and be celibate, because it's easy to cut off things where you don't feel like you're going to miss out on a lot, right? I think. Then you got people that do it for religious reasons, like the gang faster. You're like, I know right now it's Lent. Some people for these 40 days they're going to be off any shenanigans. They're going to be off shenanigans. Personally, I didn't give up anything for Lent. I know my parents would be upset, but it is what it is.
You couldn't let it go.
No, man, like just in general, I don't believe in this whole deprive yourself to achieve some sort of greatness. Then you have, in the third point, laba who are doing it too much to a point where they're like, I got synced you. So
Man, yeah, no, labo we service because you'd have been strong.
Have you ever taken an oath to be celibate?
No.
Okay. Or even like just decided
I was a virgin until I got married. Son.
Okay, sharp, cool. But but I mean like just decided Uguti. Okay, no, fine. Like now I'm like for this week or for this month, I'm not gonna touch the things. Or I'm not even gonna drink. Like I know there's people who do October and all of that stuff. Nah.
I mean, I don't do it to the extent where I'm like, I had no feeling I need to, you know what I mean? Like it's just kind of like, meh, you know, even if I don't, it's like, okay, I didn't. If I do,
when you do it,
you know what I mean? Like, so it's one of those things where for me, like you said, I haven't really found much stock in that whole, you know, I'm going to stop doing this. Like I did it successfully, obviously, when I was working out with the intention of dropping like a lot of weight. I cut carbs, right? And then, you know, really controlled my eating and, you know, exercise and stuff like that. That, again, that type of, you know, depriving certain things from your diet, that makes sense, right? But local when you outcut, because I'm like, okay, if you deprive yourself of sex or alcohol or whatever it is you're depriving yourself of, what's that going to achieve? But if there is something that, you know, maybe is mental focus for you, then absolutely.
Because I know that sometimes depriving yourself,
if that's what it's going to help you achieve. Yeah,
depriving yourself of alcohol for certain periods of time can help, like with gym routine and your body and whatever. Because I know, for example, if you drink on a Monday night at a work thing or whatever, or you have wine or champagne or shots, whatever it is, the next day you're not going to the gym because you're hanging, you have a headache, you probably drop weights on you, or you'll pass out, whatever it is. So there are at times, like, you know, proper.
Or you could just drink in moderation and
proper reason.
You get up for the gym the next day.
There's this clip by Israel Zulu. Not sure if you know him. He was on Mac G's podcast a while back, and I'll send you the clip. But he was basically talking about how when he was in jail, he didn't even like masturbate or anything. He didn't touch his thing, and they're like, Samanje, what do you do? My voga, and he's like, Angitis vogel, izos lalel. I'm like, oh.
Wasn't it Chup Chup who was saying that?
No, it was Israel Zulu.
Okay.
They were talking about how he thinks that sex is a distraction and he doesn't need it in order to like achieve his best potential and goals. You know, I was like, okay, my guy, if that's you, then sharp.
So kind of jumping on to the next thing that I had over here. So this tweet says, all I can say is you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. But anyway, 6 years ago, I requested my best friend to ask my girlfriend out so that I know if she's the one for me. They're getting married this weekend. Heartbreak emoji.
Wait, what?
Basically, again, this makes no sense. It's like you asking me to ask your girlfriend out to see if she's going to be like, no, I'm with Senna. You know, so I'm assuming that's essentially what he was hoping for. And
Never,
then,
never ever play
yeah,
those games. It
yeah,
was a test which clearly
yeah,
the other person failed, right? So he saw what he
yeah,
wanted to see. When
yeah,
you deploy such a tactic, what do you think the results will be? That's exactly what you're asking for, right? Because what if
yeah.
she says no, then you marry her?
Yeah. I don't know.
Nah.
Like, it's just, again, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. That's all I can say about that. But it reminded me of and Twitter Spaces, yeah, Dagger. So it's a space now, dating your friends' exes. Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's an
that actually
interesting
came from that.
thing.
It actually came from that chat that I think I sent you
Oh, the
earlier
English
on.
inbox.
That I inboxed you, yeah.
Ah,
Well, so
okay,
similar, yeah. But I think it was a whole
okay.
bunch of
I
people who were
mean,
like something
mm,
along the lines of um what if I think your partner's still friends with their ex? Can your partner still be friends with their ex? Blah 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 blah. And then people were like, yes, if I have a flat tire, I can call my ex. If I have this, I can call my ex. I'm like, okay.
yeah, no, it's a lot. But the story that I wanted to share real quick was back in high school. There was a friend. There's this hunt that I was into, kind of. So you do know when you're like kind of like you're feeling each other, right? But it's not a done deal with, this is the direction that we're going. I was in a position where I was still kind of deciding what I wanted to do, but this individual kind of sort of had my attention, but someone else also kind of sort of had my attention. So I was trying to
Yeah.
figure out which way to go, right? And then, so let's just go with girl A. Girl A is I'm vibing with girl A, and I'm vibing with girl B, right? So I'm trying to figure out, okay, what's the best way forward, my boss, right? So I'm thinking about it, and obviously there's been nothing that's been explicitly said by girl A or with the A dog. I'm feeling there's a vibe, right? There's a vibe, and that's
Yeah.
it. So if you analyze the situation, I'm like, you know what? There's a very high likelihood that girl A is into me. I knew definitely girl B was into me. I knew that, like, no, this one is in my pocket, right? So now I'm thinking, I don't know what happened. Anyway, I don't know, I can't remember the particulars, but I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go with girl B, right? That's what I
Okay.
told myself. But I didn't want to look grimy in terms of like I'm vibing with girl A and then I just go and do a short left, right? So I was gonna have a conversation with girl A to say, hey, listen, I know that we're vibing, but I'm actually, thinking of pursuing shit with, girl B. So I just wanted to let you know so that there's, it doesn't look like I'm a fuckboy or whatever, right? So obviously I'm like, right, I need to have this conversation with Ukel. But then I didn't want to embarrass myself in the sense that what if I'm reading the vibe completely wrong, right? And what if girl A really isn't into me, right? We're just cool, it's just hey, we enjoy each other's company, but like that's where it ends. I know he's a cool guy, and which for some girls it really could be one of those
Yeah.
things, right? So I'm like, now how do I get around this problem? Introduce girl 3, right? Girl C, who was much more. That was a friend relationship that we had. I'd known her for at least, I think, 2 or 3 years at this point. But
Yeah.
there was nothing. It was, at least in my direction, me towards her, there was no romantic feelings at all. We were cool. She was a
Yeah.
cool hand. I'm like, all right, you're a cool person, right? See you at school. You're cool. It is what it is. Quiet hand. So I go to girl, C, and I'm like, hey, bruh, let's keep on. So, because she was cool, she was really cool with girl A, the one I was vibing with, right? So I'm like, hey, yo, chief, I need you to do me a favor, right? Can you go to girl A and just find out for me if she's into me? Because then, if she is, then I know I need to have that conversation then, right?
Okay. A is the
Uti,
preferable
hey, this is what it is.
candidate. Sorry.
No. B was the preferable candidate. So I was going with B.
B was the preferable
But I just need
candidate.
to let A know, Uti, listen, we're vibing, but it's not.
That's not very smart. Then why would you send
right?
someone to ask if she likes you?
Because I didn't want to have the comment. What if she doesn't like me? Then I look stupid.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to avoid. Uti, if you're not into me, I don't want to come and be like, hey, I know that you're into me, so you know what I mean?
Okay.
Because then you look dumb as fuck. 'Cause like,
These are the people
guys,
who now
I was in
need
high
to
school.
take.
Forgive
And these
me
are the
much.
people that are taking breaks in celibacy nowadays.
so so I go to the homie, right? So I go to my homie, like, hey, listen, just find out. All I said, and I was explicit, I was like, no, chief, all I want you to do is just find out, Utini, does she like me or not? Because if she says, no, I don't like him, then it's cool. I go with girl B, and there's no need to have a conversation, and, it is what it is, right? Then girl C goes to girl A and says, bruh, so Tao said I must tell you that. So she goes, Tao said I must tell you that she doesn't smack you at all. That's what she said. And
shit.
Now obviously I don't know that this conversation has gone on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like towards the end of the day of school, I saw her and she was cold to me, right?
Of
I'm like,
course.
why is this person? Anyway, maybe she was in a rush to go home. I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is. I don't even think twice about it. Go to basketball practice, and then it turns out. So one of the other guys on the team, as another Mizone, they were close, but in a friend kind of way, in a friend capacity with girl A, right? The one who's just been slighted. So now my boy calls me after practice, like an hour after I'd gotten home. He's like, bruh, you're a dickhead. I'm like, what? He's like, yo, girl A is pissed at you, bro. She doesn't rate you anymore because you sent girl C to go and tell her that you don't smack her. What kind of fuck shit is that? And
Yeah,
I was
what
like,
kind of
no,
fuck shit is
that's
that?
not what happened. So now me, I'm in a situation like, no, Ngi, listen. All I asked was for girl C to just confirm whether she likes me or not. That was it. That was the mission. He goes, nah, fam, because girl C went and said you told her to tell girl A, yeah, you don't smoke. Like,
Okay, so what is clear to me at this moment in time
I was like,
is that despite what you think, girl C may have liked you.
yes, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So someone else then came and told me, no, the thing is, girl C really has liked you for a minute, but you haven't seen it that way, and you have. And
that is the only
she was
reason
the
she
shy
go
type of.
and
She wouldn't come out of her
sabotage
shell
in
and
that
say
way.
some shit like that. But I was shook that she had a dark side like that.
How is it a dark side, guys? A woman scorned.
No, that's a dark side, bro. Because me, I said, all I said was, listen, dog, this is. So that shit to this day will
Side
pop
note.
into my mind and I'll laugh about it.
It's like that thing where I think I once saw a tweet where someone's like, guys, my crush keeps talking to me about the girl that he likes.
It was literally one of those, bro. It was literally one of those, and I'm just like, but it's so obviously I learned my lesson from that. But obviously the boy is never down for good. So if I fast forward through this through the, it was funny. So like obviously I wasn't feeling girl A as much as I was feeling girl B, right?
Of course.
Hence why this whole thing ended up happening. But post this whole drama, right? I then call. So my boy calls me, tells me what happened. And I'm like, fuck. Okay, I need to call what? Girl A. Call girl A immediately. And like, bruh, hey, listen, I heard. I'm so sorry. That wasn't the intention. Like, and then I think she's the one who told me what was actually said to her, right? So, I apologize. I'm like, no, I'm really sorry. Like, and I explained the truth of the situation. No, this is what I just wanted to do, and I didn't want to, look like an idiot, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
I'm really, really sorry. She's like, okay. So at this point, right, in her eyes, she couldn't care less about me, dog.
Yeah,
she didn't give a fuck. She had been completely turned off. It's one of them things like when a girl doesn't like you anymore, bro. Like it was. And initially, I felt like my criticism of the whole situation, right, is that I felt like it was too easy. I felt like she was on like some sporori vibes, you know, like just. You know what I mean? Like it's just like you know, if I smack you, I could have you. That's the feeling, right?
You were getting from that.
So that's why it wasn't from girl A. So then I wasn't really that interested because like if there's no, I enjoy the chase. So like if it's just easy, if it's just given to me, then it's like whatever, right? So that was the attitude that I kind of had. But then the tables turned at that point because now she couldn't care less about a nigga, and I was like, all right, fine, challenge accepted. Then yeah, long story short, in like a month later, we started dating. But that was because obviously man started campaigning. Then at that point, that's when man started like proper putting in effort and, you know, campaigning and wadi. But like, had that not happened, I don't think we'd have ever dated.
Hectic.
Which is mad. But anyway, point of all of this is, guys, if you play stupid games, you win.
That's what happens. Yeah, do not. Don't play these games. Let me test to see. Girls especially also like doing this thing where it's like, okay, let me test if he loves me, and then you put him through a test, and then he fails the test, and now you're heartbroken. Don't do that thing.
Yeah, it's really unnecessary. It really. There's something that my wife did. Fuck, I can't remember something that she did like yesterday. Where I was like, this thing, why do women like doing this thing? But I can't remember either if she asked me something or like, but I remember in my mind, I was so annoyed. Like, babe, why would you ask this question? Anyway, if I remember,
I'll bring it back.
I'll definitely show you. I'll bring it back. But anyway, okay, no, this was the story. Mr. Moyo, we're out of time. But do you want to go through the thread? Do you think we've got time for that?
We can just go through it quickly. Do we have any CS numbers? Actually, that will determine whether or not we go through this.
And we're just going through that other one that we were sent from last week.
Oh shit, the one from last week, not the one from this week. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Wait, is there one from this week?
There was one I sent to your DMs.
This week?
Yeah, it's like, ladies, what is the worst lie you have heard of come out of a man's mouth?
Oh.
But no, let's cover the one from last week.
Wait! I just opened the tweet, and this girl responded, and she's like, he said he booked a hotel room because he needed Wi-Fi.
I saw that.
Nah. Wow.
The one that killed me is the one who was part of the pregnancy test. It was not pregnant. He's like, yeah, I just wanted to see if men could get pregnant too.
If it works in males or if it works in males
if it works with guys too. Yeah. I found hair in his bedroom, so I asked Yamang, whose is it? The answer was that I flew in the bedroom window because he doesn't know anything. The following week I found earrings. He said the exact same thing. Yes.
Talk when I found him in bed with another woman. It's his aunt.
How? Antwake. There must be some weird ass relationship. This one was funny. His ex, he had always broken up with, called while he was at my place and he refused picking it up. I asked why. He said, nah, she keeps disturbing and he doesn't want. So I asked him to pick and hear what she wants to say. He said she's asking for her NIN card and he doesn't have it. So I asked him, this is so badly written. So I then asked him to pick up the phone and then he started shouting at her as if someone isn't answering. He started shouting at the phone as if Do you know how crazy you have to be when someone is talking on the
Bruh.
other line and you're like, hello, hello.
Bruh. And just ignoring them, dog.
And you're like,
just
hey, I
ignoring
knew.
them. Bruh.
Anyways.
I just caught a stray for nothing, bruh. Like, me and my people. Talk with he texted to say he fainted at church, blacked out, and was rushed to hospital.
He's
Tried
an Adventist.
calling, and even went to the hospital. He was supposed to be at. He wasn't picking up calls, nowhere to be found. It turned out he had proposed to a girl from his church that Saturday. Never trust a Seventh-day Adventist.
How did I know? How did I know?
Nah, SDA men.
There's one I saw where a guy faked his death. Oh, here's the one. So, my friend had a fling. Friend had a fling. Fling sent his friends to call and say that he had cancer. Monday, he said he had stage 1. Thursday, he said he had stage 4. This was worse than load shedding. And then on Sunday, they had the funeral. All in a week, the dude had stage 1 to stage 4 cancer, and he had clearly faked his own death. Years later, we saw him at the traffic light. He just didn't know how to break it home.
Wow.
Wait, is breaking up with someone hard? Like, because this is not the first person to have done something extreme.
Sometimes it is.
Avoid having a conversation with a woman to say it's over.
I think it is. I think it is sometimes. I genuinely think it is sometimes.
It's not easy, I will say, but suke sokunzima and ukuthi umuntu azathi I have stage 1 to stage 4 cancer in 4 days.
I mean, sometimes it wants to be under pressure, bro.
But guys, in the days of social media, how do you disappear? Like, I feel like okay, you'd have to be a person who doesn't have like Twitter, IG, even WhatsApp, especially WhatsApp.
Nah, it's those people who are not non-posters who think not posting or whatever. You know, it's. I think I just saw a random one. He couldn't respond to text because his iPhone was overheating. In brackets, it was December. I know December is wild, bro. December, you don't want to be single,
bro.
In December, bro. Like it's
also it's these streets.
Correct. Now the streets in December are tough. You don't want to be in the streets in December because police is here. You don't play around there. Us will show you flames for days in December. But anyway, so that tweet, someone sent us a CSM last week and said, what's the craziest thing that you guys have done for Cooch or no that has been done for Cooch? And I just remembered one of the guys that was in my dorm in the States pretended. So there's this girl that he was into, but she had a thing. She always had to date or get with established men. That was her thing.
Okay.
So she didn't fuck with any uni guys because obviously you guys don't have your shit together. You're not mature. You know those girls. Hey, me, I like mature guys. Hey, me not 30 plus. Hey, you know those ones, right? So she wanted niggas that are established, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. So my man is really, really into this girl. He's like, nah, bro. Me, I want that hat. Yeah, I'm trying to hit. Like, oh, okay. So what you gonna do? Because you ain't got no money, bro. Like you're working minimum wage, IT department. Like, hey, it is what it is.
It is
right?
what it is.
So what my man did, because I don't even know how he finessed the whole social. He pretended that he had started working at Bank of America.
How?
So he was because of the year that we were like final year, and for Americans, like if you just need like one course, you can come onto campus only for one course, right? Like you can just do one or two courses or whatever the case is. Yeah. So the rest you don't have to take a full course load. So this man was literally taking, I think, one, maybe maximum 2 courses, and he lived on campus as well. But like I don't know how he finessed it. But anyway, told the hun, hey, I'm working at Bank of America, and this hun is really not smart, and she child. So she was like, oh, okay, cool. That's really dope. Da, da, da. This man changed his LinkedIn, put Bank of America on his LinkedIn and everything. Like and to sell the dream, right? He would have the hun meet him at Bank of America. So like literally be like, hey, let's go out for dinner or whatever, or let's go out for lunch. And she'd be like, pull up to the office. And he would catch a bus, go to Bank of America, email the pagat, and then literally just touch her from a corner. And she chatted. And they hooked up.
Wait, did she ever find out?
No.
She never found out. Knowledge.
I asked him. Never found out.
Here's the thing.
He never got caught.
Okay. I don't like saying this for girls, but I'll say it, right? Sort of giving up the playbook in a way, but I don't care. It doesn't apply to me no more. Girls like to stipulate very explicitly the kind of guy that they want on social media. I want a man who's this. I want someone who's this. I want someone who likes to take walks. And if I'm an interested party and I see all of that nonsense, I can literally curate myself to be the person that you want to be, just to get the things. I'm not saying that I've done this, but I am aware. It becomes easy, right? Someone once said that Ted Bundy would do the most with his hands because you'll be oversharing. But that's truth. It's like, I want a man who... I want a man who buys me flowers. Well, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what she likes. Note. I want a man who likes to take me on scenic drives. All right, okay. Chapman's Peak. There.
But you know what? Yeah. Don't give the hands all the flack, because personally, I have been swindled by a woman before, and she so one of my exes actually used to keep up with the Premier League and specifically Chelsea games, because obviously that's my club, that's the league that I watch 24/7, and she'd pull up, come to school every weekend, every Monday, and would talk board. And then once she had secured the bay, I'm like, hey, did you watch the Chelsea game? I'm giving a shit about Manchester United. And she's like, I didn't even watch the game. I'm like, what do you mean you didn't watch the game? It was a big game. Yeah, whatever. And yeah, she was like, listen, I only watched Bora because I was into you. But now that I have you, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I'm like, damn. It is what it is. So I mean...
Women, I think, are less subtle about how they curate themselves to be your babe. Women can position themselves very well to be a person. Like I've found that they're very strategic and subtle. You won't even realize. Guys were very overt, right? If you see a girl posting that I like chocolate, I'm going on Netflix and I'm just sending you chocolate. It's like match for match. Girls would like a picture here.
Now women will finesse you in front of me. You won't even know what time you got into the relationship. How many niggas right now can DM us or at us? Let us know. Do you know really when your relationship started? Or did you get to a point where you were just like, hey, Chief, what do you mean? Like you know what I mean? Like it's like you don't even know when you asked the Adam out, like as in, will you be my girlfriend? Because she's maneuvered herself in such a way. She's cleared out
positioned herself.
She's made her space.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that girls can't like football. But some of y'all be tweeting, next thing umuntu, Messi, what a goal. I'm like, okay. Next thing I start seeing too many.
What are you trying to impress me?
Next thing I start seeing too many people saying Messi's the GOAT, and I'm like,
No. There's some people. There's people that are on the TL that are genuine football fans.
No. I know. I know. Chef, I'm literally just I'm fucking around. I'm just playing around.
You'll be like, this one who's tweeting, Chief. It's the middle of the season. This is the first water tweet that you put up after 3 months. Chief, no, I can't be. We know the football community. We know each other. The basketball community, I know my people I interact with basketball. and I know strays when I see them.
and they always have the most
But anyway,
ridiculous takes. You're like, chief, okay.
Of course. But yeah, real quick before we leave, quick update on the 6 foot league, 6 foot fantasy league. Shout out to Ropa Walala Wasala, top of the league. And then Prof number 2 there. It's tight between the two of them. One terrible game week, and it could easily flip 1 and 2. Mtogo, shout out to Mtogo, bro. Mtogo's top 4. Mtogo's top 4. He's been focused. Not bad season. At all. Yeah, no, he's out there. Panache 7th in the league. Not bad. Fezi 9. How? Tsungi. Kenny's up there. Okay. No, it's a pretty decent league. Now I'm 17th, bro. But
you went up.
Yeah, tough. We've had a tough season.
Yeah.
What do you mean? You were 22nd.
I was above you last week. What are you saying, nigga?
You've given up.
I was above you, I think last week.
Yeah.
And then
I had a week where I had 144 points.
You know what happens? The usual thing happens with me. I miss one game week, and then I missed that busy fixture period. I'm not sure if it was Jan, December there. I think I was just busy, and I went away, and I came back, and when you miss one game week and then you find yourself slipping, you miss the second one, then you're like,
yeah. But shout out to Ayanda, anchoring always.
No, we give thanks.
Doing the lots.
No, we need an anchor.
We need an anchor to hold us down, So shout out to you, Mangube. Well done. Keep anchoring. You're doing a very wonderful job.
Yes. The team make us super. Bro,
I know team
You know how I know that this team has sanctions? How do you have Maguire in your team, bro?
She has Maguire. No, let's analyze. Actually, really.
How are you gonna have Harry Maguire in your team?
She's gonna come for us, bro. She's gonna come for Team Lay.
There were economic sanctions at the back there, and you couldn't get.
She
couldn't get proper
defenders.
You got Tavares. Tavares was trying to look guys. Okay, that is fine.
Robertson, Van Dijk, Rudiger, okay. Mendy, okay.
Joe, that guy from Everton, the midfielder. You know what? This is an inshallah
his team. His form is 0.6.
You know, like when you pick players for fantasy for a season and you're like, right, inshallah.
Yeah.
God be with her.
Bro, this Allen guy his form is 1.6. Jorginho, I don't even know why. You don't put Jorginho in your team, guys. Like, obviously he'll score the odd.
You know what I'm thinking?
Like, still, Gallagher. I'm thinking. Okay. Bernardo doesn't really get.
I'm thinking Ropa comes and she tells us how she does this.
Yeah, no. Ropa needs to train how to do.
What's the
are you an analytics person? I'm pretty sure she uses analytics. It has to be analytics.
You're right, no, but dog, you have to also watch the games, I guess, and you have to be like in touch with.
You don't. That's the beautiful thing about analytics. No, absolutely not. It's bots, bro. They look at the stats. Like Coyote built an algorithm that would tell him which players are going to produce each and every game week, and then he would just modify his team. And then obviously there would be 1 or 2 players that he wouldn't take the recommendation of the algorithm just because again
the game.
Computers know what you tell them to do. So it's like because he's a football fan, you're like, you know what? Let me not start saying this way. Let me do it.
If you start saying pick Harry Maguire in my defense, then I'm like, okay.
But even for my most successful week, right, where I scored like 144 points. I literally went on, you know how they give you the scout every week? So I did a free hit and I copied and pasted the whole team on the scout and I used that team. And that's literally like 99% analytics that just say, hey, so and so has been scoring X points for this many game weeks, and they put together a team. And it worked. Like literally, you just it worked. So analytics is the future. You don't even have to be, which is why obviously a lot of people, especially not as much in football, they don't talk about it too much, but like in basketball, there's a big fight because, you know, a lot of people believe in what you call the eye test in terms of, you know, you just know if someone got it and all these other things. But then there's a bunch of people who didn't grow up around basketball, who have now become general managers of teams only because they know analytics. And a lot of, you know, old heads are like, hey, whatever, like how do you get some graduate from MIT to run a team when he doesn't know shit about basketball? But because of analytics.
But the drawback with analytics is this. So 3 years ago, 3 years ago, Man United decided to involve a lot of data and scouts in their search for a right back and a central defender and a centre back. Out of 200 potentially scouted right backs, the stats said Wan-Bissaka was the best one. Now, I was like, the stats are good, but from literally just watching Bora, you can tell that he's good defensively, but offensively, he's not what United need. From the eye, right? Yeah. The stats won't tell you that, but the eye will always tell you, which okay, his left foot is finished.
You need a combination.
Yeah, so I guess that's where it's a bit different. Maguire, same thing, right? He might win 100% of the aerial duels he's in. He might pass out from the back quite a lot, but he probably defends well in a team that sits back. If you need to push a high line, he's slow to turn, and he's not the defender you need. So that balancing exercise, I guess, is important. But yeah, man, shout out to Ropa and Profile. I wonder how this will end. It's exciting to watch.
Yeah, from the stands. But we're playing on Tuesday. You guys are playing tonight, yeah?
Yes.
Do you think you win?
Yo, I don't know, bro. This team's unpredictable. Unpredictable. We could win, we could lose. I wouldn't be surprised by either.
Okay. Alrighty then, Mr. Moy. Let's call it a day. We might keep the whole Russia thing. We might cut it up. Let's see. I don't know. We'll keep it. You want to keep it?
I'm easy, dog. We'll see.
Alright. Keep the whole thing. We'll keep the whole thing. Anyway, guys, thank you for sticking with the podcast. Thank you for supporting the podcast. And as you know, like the ting, retweet the ting, subscribe to the ting, or else we are inclined to think you're a hater. Mr. Moyer?
Laters.